All right, and going into this impending government shutdown or partial government shutdown that's pretty much on the way. All right, but first and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakak, I want to give a double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone that do rule well, that have taught me this truth. And I want to say a sincere shalom to the hopeful elect, to the scattered elect, and to the brothers, the prophets, the men that are prophesying and laboring in this truth and in this doctrine. Unto you I say shalom. So apparently the Senate met on, today, January the 29th, about, a potential or funding deal to prevent a shutdown. But we already said this. The shutdown that took place, what was it, in January, or ended, not January, it ended in November. All right, they let you niggas have your holidays. All right, and they already knew this deal that they set was going to end at the end of January. All right, and everyone forgot. Okay, but the prophets have been telling you. Okay, we said that they were going to let you niggas have the holidays, let you have your Thanksgiving. Which niggas was, we ain't gonna have Thanksgiving. We ain't got no, EBT or SNAP benefits. They let you niggas have Christmas. They let you have New Year's. Now shit is about to turn upside down again. Okay, but you Israelites, you Jakes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you still haven't learned your lesson. You still continue to lean and depend on this place. All right, the mirth is gone from America. You see that going on with the ICE. Okay, with that whole situation that's going on. All right, with the great divide amongst government officials. All right, divide amongst local and state officials, different state against this state. Okay, it says the Senate on Thursday evening reached a deal to fund the Department of Homeland Security for just 2 weeks as lawmakers hope to pass a significant spending package in efforts to avoid a partial government shutdown. So they TSA and I want to say I don't know what other entities are, probably not Homeland Security, Border Patrol. Those are part of the Homeland Security, but I know TSA for sure, for 2 weeks. But and they got 2 weeks to kick the can down the road to think that they're going to come up with a deal. All right. It says lawmakers kick the rest of the government annual funding bill over to the House of Representatives. The Senate will not vote on January 29th to advance the deal struck by lawmakers, a Senate aide informed U.S. Today. The chamber will reconvene at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on January 30th, according to the Senate Press Gallery. Though an agreement reached Thursday doesn't guarantee a partial government shutdown won't still happen. It marked a big step forward in the latest political fight that's embroiling Washington. The jeopardizing service Americans rely on such as TSA and Head Start programs. These devils gonna make y'all Jake starve, man. But we told y'all, stop putting trust in America, in Babylon, this system. All right, Senate Democrats in recent days have demanded the DHS spending bill be stripped from the broader package while they work out reforms to the agency after a second Minnesotan was killed by federal agents. And the thing about it is they have all the money in the world to fund these different programs, to give you, to support and supply whatever of financial needs these government entities need, but they want to make you niggas suffer, and that's the whole point. It says a deal represented a big win for Democrats who've been uniformly pushing for widespread reforms to President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement campaign in the wake of killing of Alex Pretty, a ICU nurse, by Border Patrol officers in Minnesota. It was the second fatal shooting by federal agents in the Twin Cities this month on January 7th. We had the Renee Good story. But so they want some kickback. They want, to get some relief from ICE, and then they'll, give in. But, Trump already, he already kind of put his foot down with ICE, even though he took him out of Minnesota. But shit is, it's just like a snowball effect. Things are going to get progressively worse. All right, in the hours of pretty killing, Democratic demand and Republicans stripped the DHS spending bill from a broader funding package while they negotiate more agencies changes, including more body cameras and banning mask wearing. They don't give a shit if they got body cameras or masks. ICE is still going to come down. Esau is still going to come down with the great wrath. All right. The only thing that can slow our country down is another long and damaging government shutdown. He said, "I'm working hard with Congress to ensure that we are able to fully fund the government without delay." It's going to be a delay. Lord willing, it is. Okay. And members also generally, members are also generally on a return notice of 72 hours, yet funding for many, though not all, federal agencies is slated to lapse sooner than later. It's going to lapse. They're going to have a lapse. All right. And it's going to trickle down. It's going to start with you Jakes, man. You Jake that is dependent on the Section 8 and the EBT and all these different, Medicaids and all that. All right. You should be healing yourself. You should be healing yourself with herbs. All right. Not Esau's pharmaceuticals. Okay. You should be, putting your trust and your faith in your Yahawashi outside that, he's going to get you some type of employment to provide for yourself. Okay, yeah, we're stuck in this captivity, but you still ain't supposed to sit on your ass and not do nothing and just think that the government gonna take care of me. All right, because it starts a pattern, and that pattern is well shit, I just gotta wait till the first and get my check and I'm good. I just gotta get my stipend from the government to pay my rent or pay this utility or this utility. Then you get dependent on this devil, and you in the trick bag in the long run because when that MOTB comes, all right, you're gonna take it. All right, this devil got you niggas all got you right where he wants you. All right, come on, let me see. It says Trump whips wipes for Senate deal, whips for Senate deal. Trump lobbied the Senate, this lobby for the Senate deal in a Truth Social post made shortly after it was announced. Republicans, Democrats, and Congress have come together to get the vast majority of the government funded until September, while at the same time providing an extension of the Department of Homeland Security, including very important Coast Guards, which are expanding the rebuilding. Okay, they talk that shit. Let me see. Senate deal agreed to on DHS funding. OMB warns agencies to expect full funding lapse. The White House Office of Management and Budget expects the looming partial shutdown to be short, and lawmakers continue negotiations on the massive spending package. And all they're doing is just spending, spending, spending. And because you see what the dollar's doing. All right, you got silver at over $120 right now. You got gold at over $5,100. All right, so it's showing you they're spending money that ain't worth nothing. Okay, the dollar is the value as gold and precious metal rise, the dollar is falling. All right. Johnson says he's waiting on Senate to call back. I think these are just like updates. Let me see. What happens next after the Senate's vote failed? A waiting game began after Thursday's failed Senate vote. It's unclear how long it will take for Democratic lawmakers to finalize a deal with the White House, but the main sticking point seems to be centered around exactly how long a short-term funding measure for DHS would be. Let me see. Are these just updates? Shutdown, test, vote fails 55 to 45. Pending shutdown could slow tax season. That's Jake want their tax money. All right, Jake is then spend all their damn money on the holidays and Christmas and shit, brand up credit cards, only to hoping they get a tax return so they can pay off their debt. A shutdown could damper on tax season, which formally began Monday, January 26th for some Americans. The IRS halted most of its major functions 5 days into the October 2025 shutdown, furloughing about 50% of its employees. So everyone's tax return is going to be delayed one way or another. Automated e-filing and telephone calls still went through, but other services, including paper processing, appeals, and payments, were stalled or slowed. Let me go down. It says, deal to avert a shutdown is getting close, Trump says. Donald Trump says he believes the White House, as members of the Congress, are getting close to a deal to avert shutdown. I just read that. Let me see. Thune. Shutdown talks trending in the right direction. When will the government shutdown begin? Why is the government approaching a shutdown? All right, it says all. He's got all the questions right here. I guess these are just updates. What is this? USA Today. For weeks, Congress has been staring down January 30th deadline to pass a collection of appropriation bills that would keep the government running. Why the f do they wait all the way into the end? Because they plan what you got. You plan what you people. Okay, they had all this time from the time that they extended or they ended the shutdown to try to make a deal. Okay, but they bullshitted. All right, because they don't want to make a deal. All right. And, I could be wrong that, hey, they open the government, they come to some deal, but eventually they're going to shut it down again because they're going to run out of funding. It's going to be some excuse. Okay. And this is all set up by the left hand. Okay. These devils, eventually, they're going to get you niggas. They already got you niggas, the majority of you jakes in the trick bag. Excuse me. But they're going to get you right where they want you, where, you're solely dependent on the government. You're solely dependent on the system. All right. The U.S. House of Representatives voted on January 22nd to send a spending package to the Senate. However, Democratic discontent around the DHS funding provisions have been simmering for weeks in response to Good's death. Republicans largely backed the DHS funding and aided by seven Democrats. The pretty's killing tipped the scales for Senate Democrats, who are now refusing to back more funding for agencies which oversee federal immigration. Yeah, it's just bullshit. It's just back and forth rhetoric. What the Senate? Let me see. Let me see the last update. What they say. So we're looking at another shutdown, and we told you. You can't say we didn't. That the prophets have been there warning you, telling you. All right, hey, don't trust in this place. Okay. Let me get this Ecclesiastes. It's 8 or 7. No, I think it's 7. It's verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to heart. All right, our people in a spirit of feasting. All right, not in mourning. All right. Let me jump down to verse 4. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the fool's heart is in the house of mirth. And Jake is in a mirthful spirit right now. Still, they just shut this place down, okay, over less than 3 months ago or so. All right, where Jake was going to work, TSA was going to work, they wasn't getting paid. All right, they was just go. They had to show up to work, and they still wasn't getting paid. Okay, and they were probably threatening them. They couldn't call in, But what is Jake doing? Back in the same spirit. All right, Jake don't learn. Jake got to learn the hard way. Okay, but hey, we told you don't trust in this place. Don't trust in Babylon. All right, this is Isaiah 30 and in 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not acted my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, to trust in the shadow of Egypt. They trust in this place. They trust in the shadow of Egypt. They trust in democracy. They trust in the voting system. Okay, they trust in the U.S. dollar. All right, it is at the end of the day, that much as they hate Trump, they trust in Trump to a certain degree. Because if Trump said, "I'm gonna give everyone $5,000 checks," niggas would be back. Niggas would be back. Talking about niggas for Trump. Okay. Therefore, shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. All right. That's Esau's leaving a lot of you dumbass Jakes out here confused. All right. Let me jump back a chapter to Isaiah 29, and I'm gonna jump down to let me jump down to where is it? Is this the verse? Let me look it up real quick. It's probably I'm probably right there. Let me look it up. Salakia. Look it up on my phone. Oh yeah, it was I was the same chapter, chapter 30 and 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out of a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. That's a form of a judgment. All right. Because you trust in this place. You trust in oppression and perverseness. All right. You despise the words of the prophets. The word of the prophets is the word you need to hear, the word you need to take heed to. Okay, to repent, you Israelites. All right, stop trusting in this government. Stop trusting in this place. Period. Okay, now we have to live here. We have to work here. We have to pay bills. We have to do what we have to do to maintain and get by. Okay, but hey, when Esau shut the lights out on this place, when it's an EMP, when it's a certain attacks or terrorist attacks or a false flag attacks, whatever it is going to be, okay, that's when you need to put your trust in Yahawashi and not this place, because when those type of events happen, these Jacob's going to be looking for answers from who? They ain't going to be looking to the prophets. They're not going to be looking to the Lord. They're going to be looking to Esau. Okay, what do we need to do? What do we need to do to get things back to how they were? All right, and that's kind of what Jake was doing. Not they weren't really doing that, but they during the shutdown, Jake was in that spirit. Like, okay, if it came down to it, just like during the COVID, if they told niggas you got to take the jab to go back to work, to go back to doing certain activities to make things go back to normal, and what did niggas do? They went and took it. The same thing with this. Okay, but this is just the government shutdown is just a part of it. All right, to make you Jake suffer. All right, and that's what's going to take place eventually. And it's might, and like I said, they may formulate some deal, but the deal is not long term, because why is it that we always see every year, not every year, but every so often, this is a government shutdown. It's a government shutdown. Or why aren't your appointed leaders able to make wise decisions and deals that are that have the people's best interest, because they don't have your best interest. Okay, Trump, this government, Democrat, Republican, they don't got your best interest. Okay, their interest is in appeasing and pleasing the international bankers and confusing you dumb niggas. Okay, you dumb Edomites too out there. You two-time loser Edomites. All right, that this devil is he's an ultimate niggard. He just wants it all to himself. He wants control. All right. He wants, he wants it all. Um, let me see what else I wanted to get. I didn't really write any scriptures down, but let me grab this. It's in Proverbs, I think it's 26. Um, shit. Hold on. Let me look it up. Proverbs, it's 25. Proverbs 25 and 19. Confidence in an unfaithful man in the time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. All right. Confidence in any man is going to leave your ass in trouble. But all right, but in an unfaithful man in the time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. Either one of those things you can't use. All right, with a broken tooth you can't chew food. Okay, with a foot out of joint you can't walk. All right, so it's useless. All right, just like an unfaithful man in the time of trouble, you put your faith in a Trump or whatever government leader that you niggas follow. They're useless to you. Okay, the only one that's going to be able to get us out of this shit that Jacob's trouble is Yahawashi. All right, your faith in Yahawashi. All right, your righteous deeds that you do, towards your fellow brother, towards your fellow brothers and sisters. All right, the true believers. All right, not no niggas in the world. All right. Let me get one last scripture. I don't want to make this too long. Isaiah 33:6. In wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, in strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So when you're in trying times, when you know the knowledge and wisdom you obtain in the truth, the knowledge and wisdom you obtain from Yahawashi is what's going to keep you stable minded. Is what's going to keep you when the government shuts down and you might have a government job. That's what's going to keep you stable. All right, your faith in your faith in being dependent on Yahawashi, not you waiting for the government to open back up or maybe they strike a deal. You're waiting on a man that can't even save itself. You're waiting on a man, putting your confidence in a man that is only a man, okay, and not a power. Okay, we put our faith and our confidence in the ultimate power, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. So I don't know. That just came up. I just want to hit some points on this potential government shutdown, and like I said, we told you, all right. The prophets told you that it was going to happen again. It was only a matter of time, and this time, Lord willing, it's for the long haul. It's for they shut this thing down until they bring forth that MOTB. All right, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the hopeful elect. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Harakak Wadash. Shalom.